try. I was telling somebody the other day, God helps those who help themselves. It's very easy. हम बोलते रहते हैं, we throw this around, we've all heard this, but it also means that even if you cannot see how you are going to do something or how you're going to manage or get out of a situation, but मैं कहाँ जाऊँगी, but मैं क्या करूँगी, that thing is not your problem. That is God's problem. Your problem is that you do the right thing that is right by you, for you. So end up doing that, help yourself, and then God will start helping you. Not कि भाई मुझे रास्ता नज़र आएगा तो फिर मैं वो कदम लूँगी. No.
Anmol, run me through male aesthetics. So, how's that looking these days? Aapke paas are more men coming to you? Are more men interested in aesthetic procedures or anything of that sort?
Definitely more than there was 4 years ago. I think men have also started converting. I think men have always taken their problems very lightly. कि खैर है, like we shouldn't bring this up because like आदमियों का ये काम नहीं होता, men shouldn't cry, things like that. But now there's a lot more awareness and men are more comfortable talking about their problems.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the Pakistan Observer podcast. मेरा नाम अब्दुल्ला मलिक है और मेरे साथ आज मौजूद हैं Dr. Anmol Sultan. Anmol, welcome to Pakistan Observer. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I'll get to the doctor part of the conversation a little later, but I really want to understand who Anmol Sultan is. I mean, I've done, as I told you off camera as well, a bunch of research on who you are, but it seems like you do so much, so it's difficult to really understand ke kaun hai doctor, not doctor, just Anmol Sultan.
I think that's very difficult for me to put in a box. कि कौन है डॉक्टर अनमोल. आई थिंक आपके भी बहुत facets होंगे, multiple personalities that you have, multiple roles that you fulfill. I think it's the same for me.
Yeah. And Anmol, so tell me a little bit more about where you were born, how your childhood was, how the growing up was. Kaisa tha that led to Anmol the way that she is today?
Oh, we really want to deep dive into that. Okay. I was born and raised in Wah Kant. I am one of 5 siblings, the youngest sister, and then I have a younger brother. I was always very sheltered. I think I was very well taken care of, a little too well taken care of. So when I went out into the world, I didn't even know how to buy something from a shop. And that's when I started finding myself. I think when I finally went to university is when I started developing a personality that was true to me and not my situation and my circumstances or my environment. And a lot of the things that I learned growing up was not by seeing people be a certain way. It was more like, okay, this is the way I do not want to be. So that's how I kind of truly found myself, by learning and seeing things that I don't want to be rather than what I want to be. It took me a very long time to actually figure out who I want to be.
And what do you think is the importance of breaking those patterns? So we grow up looking at certain things, we grow up learning a few things, and then, as you said, the importance of unlearning. How do you see that?
Very hard way to learn, but it's the best way to learn something, because when you actually figure out the things that you've been doing all your life, कि ये गलत है, kind of like when you're a teenager and you realize, okay, my parents are not superheroes, my parents are just humans and they're making mistakes. उसके बाद जाके एक point आता है where you're like, okay, I can also be wrong in certain ways, and that is a very hard pill to swallow. And I think it takes a lot of courage for somebody to understand, accept, and then try to change that, try to change those patterns and those things that you've learned along the way. Maybe those traumas that you carry, jiski wajah se you are a certain way, and your natural instinct is to constantly go back to that thing. But आपका बड़ापन तब आता है जब आप उस चीज़ को भूल के नहीं, उस चीज़ को understand करके, accept करके, अपने पास बिठा के, और फिर कहते हो, this is not serving me, I need to move on from this.
And so, perhaps if you say the last 10 years, kaun se hain wo major lifestyle changes that you've made? It can be really, something simple or something grand that you've done, but do you have any bigger lifestyle changes that you've made?
I think the biggest lifestyle change I've made is we accepting that I can be wrong, being more humble, and working on my health pretty much, because it's not something I've seen growing up. I don't think most of our parents are people who work out regularly or have a physical hobby or something of the sort, but it's something that is extremely important, and I would like to do it so that the kids that come from me see how important and that it's natural. Ye hona chahiye. So things like that.
And so, Anmol, run me through how important, like, for example, working out, as you just said, or like, you know, taking care of yourself, is in terms of the aesthetics that later come into your life. So, you know, like as an aesthetic physician, you deal with a lot of aesthetics on a day-to-day basis. But leading up to that, how important do you think? I mean, your diet, your gymming, your working out, or anything that you do for yourself. How important of a role do you think that plays?
I think the last thing is aesthetics when it comes to working out. That is the last benefit that you get. The first benefit, and the reason why I started getting into health and wellness, is for mental support, pretty much. It's when I was really struggling and I got into working out and everything, and I realized that it helps because your muscles naturally release chemicals that help you feel better, your serotonin levels improve, all of these things improve, and then that really pushes you into doing other things better. मतलब सिर्फ मेडिकेशन पे रिलाई करना और इन चीज़ों पे रिलाई करना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाता है. Majorly along the journey I realized that diet, exercise and health first will impact your mental health. It will then impact your physical appearance, your longevity, most importantly, something that I'm starting to lean towards now. And then in the end, I realized the patients that I'm trying to treat the patients that I'm trying to treat, the results that I'm trying to achieve will never be so if they are not executing a good lifestyle or on a day-to-day basis. So now when I start treating patients, I first treat them internally, and internal may exercise bhi aati hai. I treat them in a way where I tell them to improve their lifestyles, improve their nutritional levels, improve their the quality of food that they're ingesting, and then I bring them towards the treatment, because then that treatment is going to give them a double fold or a triple fold result, rather than somebody whose skin, hair, nails cannot support a treatment, unko vakti result aa jaye, and then they're like, you know what, it just evaporated in a month or two. That is something I was doing in the start of when I started doing everything. But now I know it's the other way around. It comes from within first, and then ऊपर से आप जो कुछ अपने लिए कर सकते हैं, yeah, sure, visit.
And when you're talking about weight loss, so आजकल the big thing is Ozempic. How do you see that?
I think like any other medicine or any other drug, it needs to be used. The benefit needs to outweigh the risk. It is not for anybody trying to lose a few kgs. It is dangerous. Also, there's a lot of papers still coming out on it. Also, with the pancreas involved, with your vision involved, all of those things, they do take a hit. लेकिन for somebody who is so obese कि उनको arthritis भी हो रहा है, उनको heart disease भी हो रहा है, उनको diabetes भी है, it is a life-changing drug for them. They should definitely be on these things. But for somebody who's looking to lose a quick pound or two, I don't think it is a good option.
No. So back to the journey. I want to understand, before I really delve into the specifics of it, what does a day-to-day look like in your life today?
No. A day-to-day in my life looks like waking up, going to the gym first thing in the morning, after taking my supplementations and my teas and all of that. I go to the gym. I'm either doing MMA or I'm working out. Then I come home. I take a meeting or two. I get ready for work. I have my breakfast. I go to work. I'm at work pretty much all day. I sometimes get free at 9, 10, sometimes even 11. एंड देन उसके बाद अगर कोई मीटिंग का टाइम हो या कोई इस तरह की कमिटमेंट हो तो वो उस वक्त फुलफिल हो रही होती है, या फिर आई फाइंड सम टाइम टू गो टू माई सिस्टर्स हाउस, chill with my nephews and nieces, and then go home.
And so, you know, you're pretty much working, as you said, the entire day. How are you maintaining that work-life balance? So in terms of like, you say that you're working out in first thing in the morning, but then the social aspect of life, or like, other things that one needs to do to sustain a good lifestyle.
Huh. So first of all, my week is a 4-day work week.
Okay.
And I'm a big advocate for that because my productivity has increased a lot since I've been on a 4-day work week. So I'm working morning, say night, 4 days, and 3 days I am relaxing, and I'm finding time on Monday to do my errands like a dentist appointment or the bank and this and that, or a social commitment at night. Saturdays I am completely useless. I'm on my bed recuperating from the 4-day work week, the kind of work that I do. Sundays are also for family, for social commitments and all of
Right.
that. Mondays are errands.
Okay, so you have like Saturday, Sunday, and Monday,
Yeah, I
an
feel.
extended weekend.
Oh yes, an extended. Oh, I wouldn't even call it a weekend. I actually feel like I'm more busy on the weekends rather than on the
Yeah.
weekdays. I know weekdays पे मैंने ये 3 या 4 चीज़ें हैं जो on a roll करनी है, और weekends पे it's like I'm juggling everything else that I cannot do during the week.
And so, Anmol, like aesthetic physician, where does that interest come from? Is that something you wanted to do since you were a little child? Did you also know at that point what that meant? Yeah, where did the interest spark?
No, I actually never knew what I wanted to be for a very long time. I remember starting med school and thinking, just before med school, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to be a doctor. It was because my father wanted me to be a doctor. So I was like, sure, I can do anything. So I'll do it for you. And there were kids around me in first year, second year who were like, oh, I want to be this. I want to specialize in this. And I was just sitting there like, okay, maybe next year I'll know what I want to do, where I want to specialize in. Come final year, I still don't know what I want to do. And along the way, you keep thinking, this is for all the med students who know what I'm talking about. You think, इस साल मैंने न्यूरोसर्जन बनना है, थर्ड ईयर में आपने गैस्ट्रोएंटरोलॉजिस्ट बनना होता है, फोर्थ ईयर में आप कहते हो मैं तो सर्जन बनने वाली हूँ, फिफ्थ ईयर में कुछ और होता है. But you never really know. Some people do, but I never really knew. And I feel like God has been very kind in that way. Like, He kept paving the way for me. My father wanted me to be a dermatologist. My mother wanted me to be a cardiologist. And I was like, कर सकती हूँ, दोनों कर सकती हूँ, कर लूँगी. But I started studying for my steps to go to America. And while I was in my house job, because I'm a bit of a workaholic, and also to escape some things that I was going through at that time, I took up another job while I was in house job, and I was in a derma department. So I took up a job in a clinic, and when I started working in that clinic, I realized, oh, I'm really good at this. I'm really good at what these aesthetics that I'm doing and I'm practicing. But this is not something I want to specialize in. Fast forward, I get an offer from another big clinic, aesthetic care. I'm like, okay, while I'm studying, I'll just do this for the experience so that it's on my CV that I was still working while I was studying. And time guzarta gaya, and I started doing exceptionally well in a very short time. And I realized that I'm really enjoying what I'm doing, and the fact that I'm a perfectionist also really helps me. And the fact that I like to deep dive into whatever I'm doing made my work stand out from the rest, because I really understood what I was doing, and at a cellular level what I was doing. So it kind of picked me in a way.
It kind of chose you.
It kind of chose me in a way. And आहिस्ता आहिस्ता all those things कि मुझे ये करना है, मुझे बाहर जाना है, मुझे वो करना है, वो, this just started getting falling off of me. Everything started getting streamlined. I suddenly had a vision. I suddenly realized, okay, you know what? This is what I'm doing. Alhamdulillah, God has given me a name. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing meaningful, impactful work as well. So,
And
go with the flow.
so, being an aesthetic physician, is that what you call it? Is not one of the things that you understand, or one would understand off the bat ke kya aapne karna kya hota hai. So run me through ke what does an aesthetic physician really do?
Okay. Generally, an aesthetic physician is somebody who is a doctor who's done medicine, but there's this new field in medicine, which is aesthetics, in which you are studying either regenerative medicine or anti-aging and all of that stuff. So the way we are different from dermatologists is that people think that this is a job for dermatologists. But when I went abroad for my trainings and stuff, the highest of high professors that were training us were either gynecologists or surgeons who had switched fields. And I realized this is not something for dermas because they're taught to only deal with skin diseases, treat diseases of the skin. We are not treating diseases of the skin. We are improving longevity. We are improving, if you're doing your job right, obviously, longevity, anti-aging, again, regenerative medicine, all of that stuff. So now the way I see it, aesthetics जो एक generally चल रहा है पाकिस्तान में, it is just, it's almost like a business now. I Botox किया, fillers किया, ये किया, वो किया. But the way I see it is how we are going to make these people age gracefully. जो लोग कहते हैं we want to age gracefully by not doing anything, ऐसा नहीं होता. Aging gracefully is when you get tasteful preventative work before सब कुछ ख़राब हो जाए and then you come to me or anybody and you say भाई इसको ठीक कर दें. No, you age in a way where you don't ever get to that point. You keep investing in yourself थोड़ा थोड़ा करके. Just like I would say everybody should work out a little bit, even if it's two days a week, so that you are keeping your muscle mass. For example, your muscle determines longevity. It determines how the mass of your muscle determines how long you will stay young for and how disease free you will stay for how long. Because यहाँ पे तो 30-40 की एज में आपको दो को मॉर्बिड्स हो चुकी होती हैं. डायबिटीज़ भी आपको गिफ्ट में मिल चुका होता है अपने पेरेंट्स से.
वैसे like on the flip side, what do you think is the reason why are we having like so many health issues at such young ages?
It's our lifestyle. Where the world that we live in right now, our stress levels are comparable to people in psychiatric wards in the 80s. The environment that we live in, the food that we're eating, it is not as nutritious as it used to be. It is very genetically modified now. The pollution levels we have, the kind of radiation we have, even Wi-Fi, being constantly surrounded by Wi-Fi is aging us, is causing DNA mutations in us in the long run. So it's just the world that we are living in now, it's not an ideal world anymore.
So Anmol, you spoke about like graceful aging. Graceful aging. Is there a right age to visit an aesthetic physician? When do you start? How do you know you should be going to one?
I don't think I can put a number on it. To be very honest with you, kuch arsa pehle tak, the protocol for retinol, an anti-aging topical medication, was 30 years पे आपको anti-aging retinol and ये वो सारी चीज़ें use करना शुरू कर देनी चाहिए. Now the protocol says 25 years. Okay. So you understand we're aging at a much more rapid rate than we used to be. So I feel like anything between 25 to 30. I have patients who are younger also, but they're looking for just cosmetic enhancements. They're not looking for longevity. But anywhere between 25 to 30, yes, start coming, improve your life so you understand. And also select somebody who is keeping your overall health in mind, not just the way you appear in mind. I think that's when you need to start.
And so we spoke about Ozempic earlier. I've also noticed that, after every few years, there's a new sort of like, skincare treatment or skincare procedure that becomes popular, and then everyone's running to aesthetic physicians. Aajkal kya hai? What's the popular in demand?
Let me first of all tell you, I'm so anti that. I'm anti a new fad coming in aesthetic medicine. It's almost like a labubu, like नई चीज़ आ जाती है, everybody is just rushing to get it, not seeing कि कौन सी research हुई है इसके ऊपर, not seeing कि clinical results क्या हैं, क्या हो रहा है. It's just and even doctors are promoting it just like that कि we have suddenly have the newest latest thing that you need to try. Do your research, understand if this is even beneficial for your patient or not before you start going around recommending these things. अभी तो आया है salmon sperm facial सबसे ज़्यादा.
What is it?
Salmon sperm facial. Yes. Again, I want to take a few names, but I don't want to take a few names. There's other things that are also fads that have come up. I don't want Big Pharma to come after me. So I'm not going to take any names. But people just started rushing towards it, and it started when Kim Kardashian posted about it. And Kim Kardashian, I feel like she starts most of the fads. She started Morpheus H. She started salmon sperm. She started BBLs, most of them. And I feel like salmon sperm is the new thing. Does it give results? Yes. But is it the gold standard for everything that everybody's raving about? Is it this magic potion that everybody's talking about? It is not.
So what is it? Is it like for brightening, whitening, or like?
It's overall for regeneration and healing. You inject it into your face, and it is supposed to give you healthier skin, glowing skin, younger skin, all of the above.
And so one of the other things that I suppose you often sort of like have requests for is whitening injections.
Yeah.
What is the obsession there, and how do you deal with that?
Post-colonial country hai hum. The obsession comes from there to answer that.
Is it still as bad जिस तरह पहले होती थी, या अब ज़्यादा awareness हो चुकी है और लोग?
It is still pretty bad. Okay, I would say people like you and me, the 3 to 5% of Pakistan who is very, very privileged and very, very blessed, hum mein nahi hai, but there are people who still come to me who are having troubles with getting marriage proposals, or who have been just beat down by society for the complexion that they have. It's very strange and it's extremely disheartening. Like helpless mothers coming to me saying, प्लीज़ कुछ कर दें इसका, क्योंकि इसकी चौथा रिश्ता रिजेक्ट हो गया क्योंकि उन्होंने इसके रंग के बारे में बोला है. First of all, how dare you even let somebody speak about your daughter like that? Secondly, I understand because they're not empowered. They don't come from these places where कि वो खड़े हो जाएं कि नहीं जी ऐसे नहीं ऐसे. They've been hearing this growing up all their lives, and it kind of becomes their identity. So whitening injections, coming back to that, I am very in favor of them, but not for the reason that you think. I am in favor of them because they are really good for your health. They are good for inflammation. They are antioxidants. They detoxify your liver. They improve cardiac health. They fight cancer cells. They improve fertility, immunity, everything. They're extremely good for you. But whitening is a side effect that they produce, which is why you're supposed to get such heavy doses, an injection, a high dose injection once a week for up to 10 to 12 weeks. You're supposed to get that because we're trying to produce this side effect. And mind you, this just came about 50 years ago, these whitening injections, because chemotherapy में conjunct therapy use करी जा रही थी. Glutathione injections लग रहे थे to improve chemotherapy के patients की सेहत. Over time, they noticed that there was an overall whitening effect in those patients. तो उन्होंने aesthetic world ने कहा आए मेरे पास. We have so many patients who would like to see this result. It's not bad, but it's not sustainable either, because it's not something you do once in your life and you've changed the tone of your skin. It is something that you will have to continue doing for the rest of your life. I tell my patients that whoever are coming to me for whitening, that whitening ये सिर्फ वो कर सकते हैं who have a lot of income that they don't know what to do with, or who are celebrities or have that lifestyle and their looks are very important to them and they can afford to continue to maintain their looks. Otherwise, सेहत के aspects आप कर रहे हैं, 100 बिस्मिल्लाह, do it, because it's exceptionally good for you. But it is something, after you get a 3-month course, about 6 to 8 months baad, you're going to lose the results. Then you do another course. 6 to 8 months baad, you're going to lose the results. Then you do another course.
So it's like a tan, basically. Like you get the tan and then you lose it. And
yes. It's like a tan. You get the tan, you lose it over time. Because the levels of glutathione, that antioxidant that suppresses melanocyte activity in your body,
Right. pigment
producing cells की activity in your body, वो use up कर लेती है आपकी body over time. Because वो overload करोगे आप तो वो side effect आएगा.
बिल्कुल.
तो वो side effect ख़त्म होना शुरू हो जाता है over time.
And more like, you know, I as we spoke, that whitening comes from a sense of insecurity and also inferiority. When you're growing up, another thing that really makes mostly teenagers insecure, and I've been at the receiving end of that as well, is acne. How do you sort of prevent that if you can, and if once you are, once you have all these pimples coming out in your face, what do you do about it?
So for acne, generally when you're growing up, prepubertal acne, that is when your hormones are shifting. There's not much that we can do at that time, but just give supportive treatment at the time, because acne is either hormonal or it's a dysregulation of hormones, or it's toxin built up in the body. So adult acne आपको majorly हो रही होती है if you have poor gut health, if you have toxins building up in your body, or if you have dysregulation at that time, which a lot of females coming with adult acne still have hormonal dysregulation. Boys, when they're growing up, they hit puberty, their hormones are all over the place. Testosterone is through the roof because it's giving you that height, it's cracking your voice, it's giving you all of that. So it is also giving you acne. So there's not much that we can do at that time rather than just supportive treatments, maybe thodi bahut oral antibiotics, even though I don't believe in antibiotics for acne until and unless it is proper bacterial acne जो फिर भी without antibiotics treat की जा सकती है. But apart from that, I just help to improve their health, regulate their hormones, and their acne disappears on their own. I treat 99% of my patients without any medication, just supplementation, just lifestyle changes, and improved gut health. And the rest follows.
So when you talk about supplements, like, I don't want to take your consultations away, of course.
That's okay.
But what are those supplements that younger people can take?
Younger people can take things like, first of all, you need to take zinc. Zinc is something that we're not taking. If you're taking zinc long term, you should be taking it with copper because they compete with each other. आपके copper levels drop हो जाते हैं, so उल्टा बाल गिरने लग जाते हैं. Zinc is good for gut health. Zinc is good for skin and hair, and many other things. You should be taking omega-3s because omega-3s are very important for when you're trying to improve dysregulation of hormones, because your hormones need omegas. And then there should also be somebody who's looking for antioxidant support long term, aging उनकी slow हो जाए, ये वाली सारी चीज़ें हो जाए. I will suggest oral glutathione, oral vitamin C for antioxidation support. Then there needs to be vitamin D. Everybody should be supplementing with vitamin D and not the badi wali doses. वो बड़ी doses आप सिर्फ तब लें जो 200,000 IU होती हैं when you're extremely deficient. But 5,000 to 10,000 IU every day with K2 is extremely important because vitamin D is playing a role in your gut, is playing a role in your hormones, is playing a role in your bones, is playing a role in so many things, and is one of the most important things that you can do for longevity as well. एंड K2 के साथ इसलिए लेना होता है बिकॉज हम लोगों को आदत है सिर्फ विटामिन डी ऐसे ही लेने की, बट विटामिन डी इफ़ यू आर नॉट टेकिंग इट विद K2, the calcium that it has, it is not getting pushed into the bones.
Okay.
It is free flowing in your arteries, and over time it can even harden your arteries and contribute to heart disease rather than improving your bone health. So if you're taking it with K2, that calcium जो vitamin D access करे, that is then getting pushed into the bones. And again हम bones के लिए calcium और vitamin D सिर्फ ले रहे होते हैं. If we're just taking Celtic salt, it has 16 minerals that we need in the bones and about 67 trace minerals that the bones need. हमें लगता है bones को सिर्फ calcium की ज़रूरत होती है, bones को calcium की नहीं, बहुत ज़्यादा minerals की ज़रूरत होती है. So I would replace whatever food sources I can have in place of supplements. I would always implement that for my patients. But other than that, जो food sources से नहीं पूरा हो सकता या हो भी सकता है and they're not going to adhere to it, फिर वो normal supplementation में ही होता है.
Right, and when we're talking about food sources, what are those foods that really trigger acne growing up but also as an adult?
So, I don't think there's any specific food that I can point out on. You get sensitized to food. There are some certain food sensitivities that you develop because of poor gut health, जिसकी वजह से ये चीज़ें और trigger हो जाती हैं. People talk about garam तासीर, ठंडी तासीर. I don't understand the concept, but I do think there is some truth behind those things. But I just feel like at that time, if आपकी gut health बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी होगी, you will not be sensitized to any kind of food. Apart from chicken and eggs, because these days our chicken and eggs are full of hormones. So उसकी वजह से definitely acne आपकी trigger होएगी. लेकिन I don't think anything else. High sugars, caffeine, chocolate, ये वाली सारी चीज़ें इनसे trigger होता है. Also because insulin spikes होती हैं उसकी वजह से. एकदम sugar spike की, उसकी वजह से एकदम insulin spike की, जिसकी वजह से ये acne trigger होना शुरू हो जाती है. But specifically to demonize a single food group, I don't think so.
No, okay, got it. Also, we spoke about a little bit about acne medication. So I've personally taken Accutane or Ortane, one of them, and I think I've lost like a quarter of my hair because of that.
Mhm.
How do you see that medication? Is that something you prescribe, support, or not?
I do prescribe it, I do support it, but not the way that people generally think. Accutane is supposed to be given to people with dysmorphic acne or acne that is changing your face. It is damaging your skin long term, not mild acne or moderate acne जिसके लिए मैं देखती हूँ कि हर कोई ले रहा होता है mild and moderate acne के लिए, because it has a lot of side effects. Side effects में सबसे बुरा side effect is bone marrow suppression, where overall आपकी bone marrow suppress हो जाती है, आपकी blood cell counts गिरना शुरू हो जाते हैं, which is extremely dangerous. Then there is hair fall, then there's depression and anxiety, so many other things that it is doing. Doctors need to understand that you need to give Accutane with other things in conjunct so that patients are not suffering from their side effects as much. It is also something that deranges your liver enzymes. आपको CBC और liver enzymes की profile तो लाजमी देख के prescribe करनी है और फिर हर महीने बाद एक बार देखनी है कि levels ख़राब तो नहीं हो रहे. Number 1. Number 2, please give folic acid with your Accutane so that patients don't have excessive hair fall, उनके बाल गिर ना जाएं. Also, it helps to treat the anxiety and depression that patients feel while taking Accutane. So if you're using it properly and the way it is recommended and intended, it is fine. It is great. I've even been to multiple conferences where longevity medicine they are now taking vitamin A, which is Accutane, usko maybe 20 mg twice a week, 3 days के gap से, and it is apparently exceptional for general skin health. It is exceptional for longevity, and it helps with slowing down aging of the skin. So I'm not against Accutane, but just know how to use it. And also, please don't just start taking it like that. Make sure that your levels are checked. You're not breastfeeding. You're not pregnant. You're not trying to get pregnant before you start taking all of this, which is why you need somebody who knows what they're doing with what medication.
Right. And Mol, speaking a little bit more on facial skin, a lot of the times, ghar pe, people make all sorts of masks, like coffee masks and haldi mask and this mask and that mask. How does the aesthetic physician see that?
Not all masks are meant to be put on your face, but I am still a big advocate for things that you put on your face, because there's science behind it, right? अगर आप for example दही लगा रहे हैं अपने face के ऊपर to brighten up the skin, you feel like मैं बहुत patchy और dull हो गई हूँ, but after using a yogurt mask on your face a few times, you realize, oh, you know what, I look a lot more even and better. That's because there is lactic acid in yogurt. Okay. Lactic acid is an exfoliant. It is going to exfoliate some of the dead layers of your skin. It's going to look a lot more even. For people, for example, you mentioned coffee masks and everything. The idea is caffeine. People notice that their skin is brighter and a lot less red after using it because caffeine is it constricts your blood vessels. Vasoconstriction होती है फेस में, जिसकी वजह से डार्क सर्कल्स भी इम्प्रूव होना शुरू हो जाते हैं. ओवरऑल स्किन भी आपकी ब्राइट लगती है because there's not a lot of blotchiness on your face that you can see. So, and then lemon जो लोग लगाते हैं, that is absolutely wrong because lemon is extremely harsh for your skin. It can actually give you chemical burns on your skin, the citric acid in it. So some things, yes, are really good, but some things people, I don't think they should be putting on their face.
Yogurt and coffee are still okay?
Haan, yogurt, coffee, honey, bananas, what do you call it? Malai. Malai has omegas in it. Is really nice. It has a nice fatty layer that it leaves on your skin, extremely hydrating. So yeah, I'm an advocate for these things.
And what are some of the things that one can do at home to perhaps, improve their hair and the hair growth, texture, quality, all of that?
Okay.
And one of the other things that I do want you to touch upon is that a lot of people say not to shampoo every day. And so I tried doing that for a while and my hair just got really flaky and
I started falling probably a lot more.
Yeah, so I didn't enjoy that. So I shampoo every day. Is there truth to the fact that you shouldn't shampoo every day?
No. Now, which one do you want me to answer first?
Whatever you prefer.
Okay, I've lost the first question, so I'll start with this one. You should definitely shampoo every day because there's buildup in your scalp and you need to take that buildup and residue out. The fact that your hair starts getting oily is because there's fungus growing in your hair, natural fungus that lives on our skin, lives in our hair, but उसकी proliferation होना शुरू हो जाती है, ज़्यादा हो जाती है, जिसकी वजह से oiliness और flakiness होना शुरू हो जाती है. So definitely shampoo every day. Then there will be people who report that we stopped shampooing and उसकी वजह से हमारे बाल शुरू में बहुत अजीब से थे, and then उसके बाद they started getting really good, and we stopped having hair fall. That is because of sulfates or SLS in your shampoos that causes hair to fall because it attacks hair follicles. So I would suggest use paraben-free, sulfate-free shampoos and use them every single day. Just clean out your scalp. Otherwise वो नहीं होगा. The sulfates attacking the hair is the reason why आपके बाल जो हैं जब आप छोड़ते हैं regular shampoos को, your hair stops falling and you feel like थोड़ी सी health improve होगी है बालों की. Please build on that. What was the question that you asked? उससे पहले भी
The hair care. So what you
hair
can do
care
at home. Yeah.
Yes. I always tell my patients, whoever are coming to me for hair regrowth and hair regeneration, that whatever I do in clinic is only 50% of the result. Whatever you do at home is 50%. And what you do at home, what you do every day, has more of an impact than जो आपने महीने या 2 महीने में एक बार आके clinic में करा लेना है. So one, change your shampoos. It should be sulfate free, paraben free, so that those chemicals are not attacking your hair follicles. Two, you should give your, wherever blood flows, there is anti-aging and there is life. So massage, जो हम तेल लगा के massage करते हैं, तेल की बात नहीं है. It's about the massage that you get, the increased blood flow that helps to wake up dormant follicles, that helps to supply more nutrition to the hair that you have already.
So is oiling beneficial? Because there's like really two divided sides on that as well.
Oiling is beneficial for the shaft, not for the scalp. For hair regrowth, I'm not saying it's not beneficial for the scalp. As long as you're washing it out, it's completely fine. But जो overnight रखने वाला concept है, that is wrong. Only 2 hours के लिए oil in your hair is more than sufficient. And the massage that you do, even if it's a dry massage that you're doing every day, you're going to notice within 2 months that, oh my God, you know what, my hair actually feels a lot healthier. Then for men generally who are going through hair loss because of excessive testosterone या genetic hair loss जिसको हम कहते हैं, I think they should be doing derma stamping, which is getting a derma stamper. Obviously understand how to use it properly. You can go visit a doctor or you can YouTube it and start using that at least.
ChatGPT it.
Or ChatGPT it now.
At this point.
ChatGPT it. And then start doing that at least once a week or once every 10 days. So that combined with the massage every day, and then for texture, I think you should be using rosemary water or flaxseed gel. It is a wonderful alternative to regular gels and stuff outside. If you're doing this regularly at home, and here's a marathon. It's not something कि आपने 2 बार किया and you'll be like, मुझे results आ जाएं या wow बहुत ही फ़र्क आ गया. It is something you have to consistently do because it is so slow growing and it's so slow to give you results that if you do it for 6 months is when you will notice, oh my God, you know, there is a significant difference in my hair.
And more, another thing that people really contest is the use of sunscreen. I really read online that it's not that important, and it's like, you know, all these big cosmetic companies promoting it for their own benefits. So as an aesthetic physician, is sunscreen really that important?
Sunscreen is important, I have to say. Sunscreen, obviously anything and everything that is man-made that we're constituting has its side effects also. Panadol tak ke side effects hote hain. Lekin it's not something it's going to give you cancer and stuff. Sunscreen is important because ab hamari ozone layer bhi is not as thick as it used to be. There's holes in our ozone layers. There's the kind of pollution that we have and everything. It is not comparable to what it used to be before when there was no concept of sunscreen about 50, maybe 100 years ago. So to adapt to our daily lives now, it is exceptionally important to wear sunscreen. Physical sunscreens and chemical sunscreens, they're both completely fine by me. एक ये भी होता है कि chemical मुंह पे लगाना और उससे वो करना. Physical का ये nothing. I just think sunscreen is important. It is a need for the kind of world that we live in today. It does cause skin cancer. It does cause loss of collagen. It does age you a lot faster. It's not about कि मैं dark हो गई हूँ या मुझे tan हो गया. It's about your skin aging faster, losing collagen a lot faster, skin wrinkling faster, sagging faster. So if you want to maintain what you have, please wear sunscreen.
Right. Anmol, just changing the course of the conversation a little bit, I've seen that you're quite active on your social media. Tell me the upsides and the downsides of that in your own experience. So, क्या वो चीज़ें हैं जो that give you a benefit of that active presence online on a day-to-day basis, and then what is the downside of it? What all comes with it?
I don't think I'm as active as I should be,
Hmm.
first of all. But the upside is the kind of work that I do. It really helps to put my work out there. It's a form of marketing, I would say. And it's a platform where I can educate people over time, which I've not really gotten into as much as I would like. The downside is that I'm the kind of person who likes to live in the moment. I'm the kind of person, if I'm on my phone and you're talking to me, I cannot hear you. So that is a big downside for me. I feel like to try to keep up a personality or keep up my life online takes away from my real life. You know, my real life takes away from my real life.
In real life.
So, wo cheez mujhe, I think I still struggle to find a balance
Yeah.
with that. Otherwise, I think for my work and stuff, it is great because it helps me get patients. It helps my patients understand what kind of work I produce, what kind of morals or ethos I have.
Hmm. And Mol, as a woman working in the sort of medical industry, क्या हैं वो मसले that you face on a regular basis, if any? What sort of problems do girls have in the industry specifically?
In the industry that I work in, it's a very good industry which is actually led by females. So I don't think बहुत ज़्यादा problems होती हैं. It is definitely a female-dominated field, and there's generally the daily issues that I might not daily, but issues that I might feel are trying to prove myself. Not that I have to do that anymore. I feel like I've established myself quite well, but something that I did face initially was pretty privilege, being demonized for pretty privilege that I wasn't using. I was not using. It was all my capabilities and my kabiliyat, जिसकी वजह से I am where I am today, and obviously God. But it was like, oh, she's getting more patients because of the way she looks, or she's getting promoted more because of the way she looks, or I think it was a very distinct choice that patients were making at the time, that they wanted to be treated by me, and they were not because of pretty privilege, but because of how they felt like they could trust me more. The fact that I take almost an hour in my consultations, whereas a regular doctor is taking 10 to 15 minutes, I think that's where it all starts. Where when I'm willing to listen to them and I'm willing to give them that time and I'm willing to understand them rather than treating them like मैं factory में बैठी हूँ, आप आए और जाएं, ये वाली चीज़ नहीं हो रही. So obviously, I feel like there's more of a trust that develops.
Yeah, and that, I think that's really important. Like, I've been to one of the bigger dermatologists in Islamabad, and I waited for 3.5 hours for my turn, and then this person saw me for, I think, maximum 3 minutes for my really bad acne. So I think
Oh
that,
my God. Acne consultations, when acne comes in, I'm like, guys, everything is off for 45 minutes. I'll see you afterwards.
yeah, and I think that's really, really important. Like, having that sort of a relationship with your client, super important.
I don't understand how you can treat acne in 3 minutes. Oh, okay, fine. Maybe वही बात है. It's about the way other people practice. Maybe they're just relying on medications to treat those patients. ये खा लें इतने time के लिए तो फिर बस ठीक हो जाएगा. Whereas I am telling them about lifestyle. I'm telling them about what to eat. I'm telling them about why this medication will work, what exactly this medication or this supplement is going to do for you. And why you should take it, which is why I have very high rates of patients adhering to the treatment also, because they understand exactly why they have to do what, because this is the result that it will produce. So that takes time.
Yeah, it takes time, and it's taking time. Anyway, Anmol, I asked you about the problems as a woman in the industry. I also want to know the upside. So what do you see the upside has been as a financially independent woman working in a country like Pakistan?
everything. Everything, the upsides of being independent and working. I do understand some people as much as they would want to, some women as much as they would want to. Sometimes आपका time नहीं आया होता, or sometimes there's just रुकावटें in your way. I would say just keep praying for it and keep working hard, keep trying to break those barriers, because once you are on your own 2 feet, you have a voice, you have a choice, there is so much that you can do. आप बेचारे नहीं रहते हो, बिकॉज आई फील लाइक यहाँ पे women के लिए जनरली जो टर्म यूज़ होती है वो है बेचारी. हाय बेचारी के साथ ये हो गया वो. इट really doesn't sit well with me, because why बेचारी? And it kind of angers me कि change your circumstance. I do understand हर कोई अपनी circumstance इतने आराम से बैठ के change नहीं कर सकता, but try at least. Try. I was telling somebody the other day, God helps those who help themselves. It's very easy. हम बोलते रहते हैं, we throw this around, we've all heard this, but it also means that even if you cannot see how you are going to do something or how you're going to manage or get out of a situation, but मैं कहाँ जाऊँगी, but मैं क्या करूँगी, that thing is not your problem. That is God's problem. Your problem is that you do the right thing that is right by you, for you. So end up doing that, help yourself, and then God will start helping you. Not कि भाई मुझे रास्ता नज़र आएगा तो फिर मैं वो कदम लूँगी. No.
Anmol, run me through male aesthetics. So how's that looking these days? आपके पास क्या are more men coming to you? Are more men interested in aesthetic procedures or anything of that sort?
Definitely more than there was 4 years ago. I think men have also started converting. I think men have always taken their problems very lightly. कि खैर है, like we shouldn't bring this up because like आदमियों का ये काम नहीं होता, men shouldn't cry, things like that. But now there's a lot more awareness, and men are more comfortable talking about their problems or something that they want to improve in themselves. Again, men don't really have to. Women kind of have to, because this is our currency. The way you look, how beautiful you are is more chances that you get in life, more choices that you get in life. For men, it's not like that. You guys have to work really hard to get somewhere, and then you can be fat and bald and you can have a lot of money and you'll be super successful. But I can be fat and bald and super successful, but nobody's going to be like, wow, look, she has a lot of value in our society. It doesn't work like that. So now I think they're doing, just like women are doing both. It's not just about our looks. We're also focusing on our brains. We're also focusing on trying to educate ourselves, trying to refine ourselves more, and trying to earn for ourselves. Just like that, for men, it's not just about कि बस पैसे होने चाहिए हैं और एक social standing होनी चाहिए. They also want to look better about themselves, feel better about themselves. So in both cases, I think थोड़ी सी equalize हो रही है field.
It's changing a bit. And more lastly, I'm going to break down a few of the age brackets for you, and I want you to give these people some advice. So someone in their 20s, what is something that is non-negotiable they should be absolutely doing on a regular basis? Some sort of advice that you'd have for them.
Like skincare advice or life advice?
Skincare, I was thinking, but you can do both. You can do both.
Skincare advice, non-negotiable for a 20-year-old. I think sunscreen is a non-negotiable, because a lot of we don't understand that अगर हम उस time पे उस age में उस skin को preserve करना शुरू कर दें उसी वक्त, it'll take us a very long way. We're more careless in our 20s, and that's why more damage in our 30s. But if we're careful in our 20s, preserving what we have, it's going to go a very long way. And in life, 20-year-olds, I think, find a balance, work your butt off and get somewhere, work extremely hard, but also do not completely sacrifice on enjoying the good times, because that stuff will just catch up to you. You'll be like, I never got to live my life at that time when everybody was enjoying their lives and their uni life and all of that. I never got to enjoy that time. So you will constantly try to achieve that throughout your life. Ek wo cheez reh jayegi aapke andar. But it is also the most important time. It is what will separate you from people who are unsuccessful, if you are extremely hardworking in your 20s.
and some skincare advice for people in their 30s, perhaps 40s, moving on to the later ages of above 50 as well.
Skincare, the best skincare advice I can give them is please educate yourself on gut health, educate yourself on longevity, and start working out. That is the best skincare advice that I can give them, because your skin is a mirror and it will reflect whatever is going on the inside. If your health sucks on the inside, it's going to show on your skin. There is no way can make out, you know what, start treatments in your 30s and start treatments in your 40s while on the inside there's chaos. If my treatments are not going to do anything, barely anything. If as long as you are not working on your insides, there's no point in working on the outside.
On that beautiful note, Anmol, thank you so much for joining Pakistan Observer and being at the podcast. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely.
Thank you.